Hello, this is Aoife Dean and this is the Happy Weight podcast. Thank you so much for pressing play to this episode. So today I'm going to be talking about motivation for exercise. So kind of funny story, lately in the co-working space that I go to, well, I go to a few co-working spaces, so I'm not in my own office seeing my own clients. I hang out in co-working spaces so I can chat to people. And down in Ludgate in Skibbereen for February, they've put us into 2 teams and we've got this walking steps challenge. So like it's brought a massively competitive streak out in all of us. And with one of my colleagues as well, he's training for a marathon somewhere. And so he's going out for a run every Wednesday and he asked other members if anyone wanted to go with him. So I was like, oh, sure, why not? And then before we started running, like my colleagues were like, oh, Aoife, are you into running? Like, when did you last go for a run? Or whatever they asked me. And I was just like, I last went for a run in 2012, like literally when I lived in Fulham. So like I am into fitness, but from a very different angle. So I suppose the thing is with exercise is it gets caught in the crossfire of dieting and trying to lose weight. And that's why I hadn't gone for a run since 2012 and it's now 2025 because I resented it. And it was in a different category in my head. It was in the category of my head of punishing myself, cancelling out yesterday's calories, trying to lose weight fast, all that ickiness that even feels icky, saying it out loud and bringing it back to my memory actually. And then when I resolved my eating and weight issues, I actually realised, like I've said in other episodes, letting go of a weight problem is letting go. It's doing less. It's like when you're about to give out to yourself for what you ate yesterday, don't. And when you're about to control food, when you're about to say, you know, oh, I shouldn't eat that or something, even if it would taste good or feel good, or you're still hungry and you need more dinner, and then you could jump in and control and say, no, I'm not allowed more dinner. You know, it's actually it's a very active process holding on to a weight problem. It's a lot of thinking. You have to think about how bad your body is, how bad your eating is. You have to count calories maybe. You have to give out to yourself a lot. You have to body shame yourself. You have to look in the mirror and body shame what you see in the mirror. You have to overplan the future. Like it's a very heavy process. And for me as well, like I kind of think, and I'm sure I've done an episode on this, that there's different categories of weight problems. And mine definitely would have been doing everything hard. Like I was doing my diet days hard, like, you know, restriction, my fitness pal, rules, portion sizes, right foods, wrong foods. That was all hard. But then the flip side of it, I like Friday night, come Saturday, come Sunday, I was eating hard, like hard eating, sometimes hard drinking on top of it. Like I was going hard, like, you know, plowing through share bags, plowing through a binge of food, plowing through pizzas, whatever. And then going hard on exercise as well. Like a lot of my Sundays in London were spent doing these ridiculously long walks that don't really, you know, make a dent if you've very bad disordered eating, like, you know, and also you can't even enjoy the experience because you're so in the eating disorder headspace. So that was kind of what it was like for me. So then when I did let go of my weight issues and my clinging on to control, my clinging on to these foods at these times a day, and, you know, now it's Friday night, so I get to force feed my body. And, you know, once I let go of all of that and I started actually just being like, okay, let go of all external signals. External signals are, it's Friday, it's Tuesday, it's 8 a.m, it's 1 p.m, it's whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you minding your body is down to what your internal signals are saying and whether you're listening to them. So when I started doing that, I realized that my body's natural want for food, like the foods it wanted, the amounts it wanted, the times of the day it wanted them, was all very different to what I'd been forcing myself to do when I was controlling. And even food types and food groups and everything, my controlling and my idea of what was right and wrong for my diet was so wrong. And also the same with the exercise. The exercise was just pushing myself hard. So actually part of letting go of the weight problem was letting go of nasty exercise, like negative exercise, like the kind of exercise that comes from a place of, come on, fatty, you better cop yourself on and cancel out yesterday's calories. Like, if that's your intention, and like what I learned from my journey of letting go of the weight problem, and, for every week or every month, noticing what stopped my progress letting go of the weight and what speeded it up, basically, I noticed that whenever anything, whether it's eating or exercising, if it's coming from a place of fear, don't bother. So if you're like, oh, I'll go out for a walk because I'm such a fatty anyways, it's like, don't bother, because you're going to go out for a 45-minute walk and you're going to inhale enough calories in the first 3 minutes you're back home to cancel that walk out, because us putting ourselves in a minus mood wise, or us just being nasty to ourselves. It's not about the walk. It's the backlash for being nasty to yourself. So if you're restricting food, or you're force feeding a protein bar, or you're force feeding or forcing yourself on a walk, if it's coming from a place of force and fear and not good enough, it will always bite you in the bum with comfort eating later in the week. That's what I found out for me anyways. So basically, with me, just the quickest way to say it is by me listening to my stomach, right? I realized I didn't have to do any of the MyFitnessPal, and I also didn't have to do any of the exercising, really, So when I was doing exercise, it was coming from a very different place. It was coming from a place of, I get to feel like that. So like, as in, I think it's quite a nice feeling, being all wrapped up, leaving the swimming pool. I also think that it's quite a fun feeling having your tunes loud and, breaking a sweat or rolling around on a yoga mat and feeling strong and feeling your calves and feeling your glutes and feeling your biceps and just feeling strong and ready to take on the world. So that's what I was doing it for. So I suppose it was really a shift in mindset. And that's what I want to talk about today, right? Because I think if even the word exercise kind of makes you feel a bit tired, you're like, ugh, could I be bothered? If it kind of makes you feel tired, and it's very much in a category of like, ugh, that's the thing I should do, well, then that's not a great relationship with exercise. Do you know what I mean? Because I think we can compare our relationship with food or with exercise to our relationships with people. And if you found out that someone was like, oh, I should meet up with Mary or whatever, you'd be like, you're grand, don't bother. Like, that's a crap relationship if someone thinks you're a should in their life. And equally, a lot needs to be reframed if we're thinking exercise is a should in our life. And that reminds me of actually another eureka moment I remember having in my bedroom in Fulham was say if this is it, right? Say if, I never gain or lose another pound in my life, what do I want my life to be? Because what I was doing at the time anyway was like same old every day. Don't do that now today. Oh shit, I ate it. Now I give out to myself and hate myself. And then see photos, spot the negatives, look in the mirror, look at your cellulite, look at your fat, and then also just open my wardrobe, open my clothes drawers, and feel fat, look at everything and be like, oh, I should be fitting that, or slim people would have nicer wardrobes, whatever I was telling myself. And I was like, God, I'd be insufferable. Like, at the time I was probably late 20s or whatever. I was like, if the next 60 years of my life are waking up every morning and opening my wardrobe and being like, oh, that doesn't fit me. Like, I was like, that's painful. And then also, like, as in, if it's not about weight, right? If you did just kind of put yourself in the mentality of like, what if I never lose or gain a pound again? Like, do you want that sedentary feeling? Because that was another thing. Like, if it wasn't about weight, it's like if you didn't have to exercise to lose weight, I still think life would be kind of crap without any movement. because just little things, like as in running for a plane, I'm always grateful for my fitness when I'm late, and I'm late a lot. And then other things like playing with grandkids, kids, nieces and nephews, picking stuff up, tidying, whatever. I don't know. Our mobility comes into everything. So even if we were our ideal weight, would we really want life without any mobility, any cardio, any strength, any endorphins? Like, that would suck. So I think the major block for most people is that they're equating, exercise to weight loss. And one of the major shifts I think we have to make now, that we're no longer going to be someone without a weight problem, or that's what we see for our future, is that I think when we're in a weight problem, all of our thinking is, all of our approaches and actions kind of come from a place of the end justifies the means. So it's okay that I eat and drink absolutely everything now on Friday night and Saturday, because it will all make sense, because I'll be doing a diet on Monday. And then say Monday to Thursday is miserable, and we're cutting out foods and we're avoiding foods and we're hungry and we're whatever else. And we're like, oh no, this all makes sense. Like, because, on Friday I ate loads, so now I have to be punished. And it's like, we would need the opposite way of thinking to not have a weight problem. So the opposite way of thinking is that the joy is in the journey. Like, I was on to one of my clients this morning, and he was saying that his kids were eating some chocolate, and, they're young enough, and, they broke off a piece of the Easter egg or whatever. They had some of it, they left some of it, they shared it around, and, on with their evening, he's working through issues with food, and that wouldn't have been his childhood or whatever. But, they have no kind of concept of there will never be chocolate again, or they've no concept of because it's Thursday night, I eat loads of chocolate. They're not going by any of those external factors. They're just really in the joys in the journey. So if I'm currently feeling good and my belly currently feels happy enough now and it's time to stop, there's no end justifies the means kind of behavior when we don't have a weight problem. So I think it's the same with exercise. In a bad mentality, we could be kind of I need to hurt myself and pound the roads and no pain, no gain. But if we were coming at it from the opposite mentality, if we were coming at it from a healed mentality, well, then it'd be I get to feel strong today, or I get to break a sweat. I get to get a little bit of a high. I get to listen to my tunes. I get to bring my fancy water bottle or my fancy coffee cup or my new gear bag or my nice new leggings or whatever it is. Or I get to get out of the house, or I get to have a change of scene, or I get to go to the sauna, or, there's so many lovely, lovely parts of exercise. And if we're kind of thinking about it in terms of, how it would add to the day rather than it being a result, I think that's really important. And another thing I think that is worth kind of considering is that we don't even realize how inundated we are with advertising, and especially food advertising. And, I would say the percentage probably is 98% of the stuff that's advertised is fast food, is takeaway, is, processed foods, is high fat, high sugar, whatever. And, we have to be aware we're being promoted. It's being promoted to us every day that a happy life is processed foods, and, with that, I think there's a bit of a backlash, don't be hard on yourself. Don't do any exercise. And it's what? Being immobile in my 60s or something, how is that a prize to myself? Or not being able to run after my kids, how is that a prize? Or feeling really lethargic, or having really low moods, any of the things that come from no exercise, I'm why do we deserve that? And that was a massive switch in my thinking as well, because I feel if you look at it a certain way, we're such a little consumer puppet, as in we buy all the shit we're told to buy, and then we sign up to all the dieting stuff we're meant to sign up to twice a year. And then, they make us think that exercising is, don't be hard on yourself. Let your hair down and get another takeaway. Let your hair down and eat loads of processed foods. And it's Yeah, but when you think about real life and joy is living. It's like when we feel alive, and no one feels alive, or no one's making memories when they're, a share bag in sitting on the couch. Like, that's not what we're going to remember at the end of our days. Whereas maybe chasing after someone, or, cycling down the road, or I don't know, going for a hike, or walking when we're on holidays, or playing with kids, hopefully our own or kids related to us, or that we know. That sounds creepy, just saying playing with kids, but you know what I mean. And, it's all the other stuff we'll remember. Like, I think what we'll remember in life is feeling alive, and so we deserve that. So I kind of think it's really about like taking it out of the should. Because another chat I had to have with myself a lot as well was like, Aoife, you don't have to lose weight for anyone. Like, this is your life. You can be whatever weight you want to be. No one can ever keep away food from you. Like, guards aren't ever going to come running out of the pantry and stop you from eating. Like, no matter how you eat, no one will ever be able to stop you from eating more. Like, there is a limitless amount of food in our life, and we get to eat all of it. We get to become the half-ton woman if we want to. Like, it ultimately, it's our life. We can do whatever the hell we want to do with it. So there is no should, and no one actually cares. I was always kind of feeling this weight of what I should be eating, and especially what I should be eating as a dietitian. And I'm like, who's this invisible they? There is no they. There is no other dietitians watching what I eat. Like, Mrs. Weight Watchers or whoever invented it is not, judging my diet. There is no one else in this equation. It's just me, my body, my diet. So I can do whatever the hell I want. And if I want to gain weight, I get to gain weight. If I never want to lose a pound of weight again, I don't have to lose a pound of weight. If I want to become the half-ton woman, I get to become the half-ton woman. And the importance of that chat is you realize once you take shoulds out of the equation, it's then just all about what you desire. So then it comes down to like, yeah, I know I don't have to exercise. Like, I'm not going to get fined if I don't exercise. No one's making me exercise. Like, no one's monitoring me to see if I exercise. Like, it's fully up to me completely. But like, I want strength in my life. I want good mental health in my life. I want to, have a resilient brain against life. And, part of that comes from oxygenating our brain and giving ourselves endorphins and all of that. So I think the whole term of exercise stops being tiring and stops being a should when you realize, just you being with you, it is kind of a desire. Like, you do like feeling fit, you do like feeling strong, and you get to go about it in whatever way you want to do it. You get to do it in your own cool way, in your own cool time. Like, with this step challenge now, I've been doing a lot of dancing to get to 2,000 steps or something, to get to 10,000 steps in my kitchen to Shakira or to Spanish music or whatever. And that makes me so happy. And I realize that actually at different time points in my life, very happy years in my life, I've always done that, whether it was with other people or by myself or whatever. It just feels good to move your body. And I suppose the opposite of that as well was when I was in disordered eating. And I've probably told this story before, but I used to say, okay, Aoife, you have to exercise 30 minutes every day. And for every day you miss, you put it on top of the next day. And I think that was around the time that Rian was born, my nephew, and I think he's around 10 or 12 now. But yeah, so I remember anyways going to the gym on Saturday with 3.5 hours of exercise ahead of me, because I had missed literally every half hour all week of the exercise I was meant to do. And I remember like my limbs feeling like lead. I remember feeling so unmotivated, so depressed, and it felt like such an Everest because, I'd probably looked at the calories or whatever. And even if I did do these 3.5 hours, I was still so behind cancelling out all the stuff I needed to cancel out. And it was just the most negative, depressing way around it. And I used to leave the gym within 20 minutes because it wasn't crack, it wasn't fun, it wasn't inspiring. It was just like a duty and a should. And I was the bad guy and I was the failure for eating so much and I was the failure for not exercising enough all week. And that's another thing I suppose we have to be aware of in terms of mindset shifts, that to be in a weight problem, I think, and to be in eating issues, in order to achieve that and sustain that, what we're generally doing is we really focus on the negative. Like, so we'll focus on the night that we binge ate and we went to bed really full, but we won't even give it a second thought the nights we felt grand going to bed. The ones that were like just nothing to write home about, nothing dramatic at all, but we'll make a massive deal if we do something wrong. And that's imbalanced. And that's why we can never get ahead, because we exaggerate the bad stuff so much that we've no motivation left. And when I'm working with clients, the biggest part of them getting results is them not going down into the flogging themselves and finding what was wrong about the week, because then it's just like, okay, they give out to themselves enough to feel down. Then it takes some time to get them out of that hole. Then they're out of that hole. They give out to themselves again. They're back in the hole. So if we're always just talking ourselves down into a hole and then motivating ourselves out of the hole and then talking ourselves back into the hole, we're never moving forward. That's how it's so tiring. And that's how we stay stuck, is because we're actually spending all of our energy either giving out to ourselves or repairing ourselves, because we gave out to ourselves so much for the last few days. And yeah, just with that, right, like I think it's so important to just really move exercise to a foreign land, far away from weight loss in your brain. Just don't connect the two at all, really, I think is the safest, because we might be burnt out from that approach. Like, if someone had said to me like, oh, come on, you can do exercise, it will burn some calories from what you ate yesterday or whatever. It's like, because I've been bullying myself with that for 20 years, it's not going to work. Like, like looking at things the same way and expecting different results is never going to work. So it's especially now, like I said, before this step challenge, the step challenge and getting back to running and all that is quite new to me, and I'm really, really, really enjoying it. But before that, in recent years or whatever, I love swimming. I love, not like I don't wear goggles. I'm not serious about it. I'm just like pootering away, doing a breaststroke or whatever. But I love it. And I love going to the gym. I love going to the sauna, the jacuzzi. I love rolling around on a mat in the gym, doing weights, doing strength, doing anything like that that's doing muscly kind of stuff. And I just kind of think when we are like leaning into exercise and doing more of it, I suppose the most obvious one is our mood. So like, I just kind of think sometimes, like, is anxiety not just us having a load of energy and have nowhere to burn it? We wake up, we roll out of bed, we sit in a train or sit into a car, go to a job that requires a lot of sitting down, come home, sit in a couch, lie in a bed, say compared to kids or whatever, we're not burning a lot of energy. And that energy is nowhere to go except just around and around in our minds, maybe making problems where there isn't any. So I kind of think the first thing is to burn off some anxious energy, to burn off anxiety out of us. And it's not the weirdest concept, because like in the masters I done, we learned that exercise literally is more scientifically proven than anti-depression, anti-anxiety meds. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying go off your meds, obviously, but I'm just saying it's a huge way that we could feel happier. And surely we deserve to feel happier. Surely we deserve to feel less stressed and enjoy our life more. And that, again, has nothing to do with size. We could be any size, but our life could be amazing because we're less stressed or we're happy or whatever. And we deserve access to that tool, which is exercise. But some of the other fun things that I think are worth noticing is, certainly our skin changes a lot. And that was, from my olden days of eating hard, dieting hard, exercising hard. One of the big changes, I think, was my skin. Because if you're having crap, low-cal diet foods or, having less fats in your diet at certain parts of the week or less complex carbohydrates and B vitamins with like trying to say really low calories or eating stupid protein bars or diet foods or whatever, And then the other part of your week is excess. It's like fat laden, salt laden, sugar laden, processed foods and drink and everything. It's like, that's a lot for our body, obviously, but for our skin too. And just, I suppose the thing with exercise is it oxygenates your skin, so much, and helps like clear it and everything. And another great sign, this goes with food as well, I suppose, when I'm working with clients, within days, they notice generally their face changing. Like someone's face is nearly always the first thing someone notices. And I just kind of think that's drainage again, that's like clearing out the bloat, clearing out the water retention, and I was thinking about this the other day, swimming actually, that like, dietitians and healthcare professionals know there's no such thing as a detox. Like your liver detoxes you, your kidneys detox you. That's detox. Anything else usually is just someone trying to make money. There's no such thing. Obviously, it's lovely to increase your water consumption or, the fruit and veg and fresh things in your life. But the kind of concept of detox is kind of BS. But I was like, if you want a detox, a great one is when we're moving our body. Because, sugar is inflammatory. It's all the itises in our body, sugar kind of can make worse. And same with our skin, same with aging, sugar has a lot to do with aging and worsening, skin aging and stuff like that. And whenever you're moving your body, whatever you're doing, whether it's Zumba, dancing, rolling on the floor with a toddler, whatever you're up to, like we are clearing our skin, we are helping our skin, we are removing the sugars from our bloodstream and the fats from our bloodstream. And then another thing I noticed is giggling. Like, just because I suppose the effect of the endorphins, like the health of our brain is huge. Like, as in building a healthy brain really comes with exercise. And when our brain is healthier, obviously it's easier to put life in context and not get so down about things or not get so anxious about things or whatever. But I notice as well, another flip side is I giggle more. Like if I'm getting in my 10,000 steps a day, I'm fierce for giggling. And it's just the sign of a happy brain. And another one would be less brain fog. And another thing, and I don't talk about it much, but like I do have a lot of clients who are moms or who have young kids or who have husbands or whatever. And like, health is libido and libido is health. There's nowhere where libido stops and health starts. And there's nowhere where health stops and libido starts. Like, health and libido are the exact same thing. And like, if you're more ready for life because you're strong and you're toned and you're worked out and, you're proving to yourself how strong you are and you're showing yourself what you can do with exercise and stuff like that, that's building your health. It's making your hormones more in balance and it's making your libido good, and I kind of think that's really important in relationships and marriages and everything. So that's the other one. And I'm just trying to think, is there any point that I didn't cover? I think I covered most things, but yeah. So I hope if you haven't been doing the exercise, you could feel happier with, I hope you ease yourself gently into it now. And I hope, like one of my mantras that really worked for me is like, I'll do things in my own cool way, in my own cool time. And I also noticed that, a huge theme of a weight problem is punishment. So like I said, you're always doing stuff in a place of punishment. And then not having a weight problem, I think, is I'm going to eat it and love it, or I'm not going to eat it, or I'm going to go for a walk and be bloody delighted I got out for a walk, or I'm not going to go out for a walk. But what's not allowed is victim mentality. What's not allowed is poor me, I'm the fat girl, I have to go for a walk. That is not allowed. And from my experience anyway, that never causes changes to your body. Like, as in, I know that sounds probably woo-woo or fake, but because of the backlash it will have on comfort eating, if you're talking to yourself like that, you'll completely cancel out a lot of benefits that we would get from exercising. So yeah, do everything in your own cool way, in your own cool time. Do it in an enjoyable way and get the feelings that you want. Like, what do you want to feel in your body? Like, is it strong? Is it good calves? Is it good glutes? Is it good biceps? Like, or toned abs, or a strong core feeling, or good posture? Like, you know, it's personal to you, and you get to go for whatever interests you more and whatever you desire. So I hope today's episode helps, and thanks so much for being here. And if you haven't already, please give the podcast a review. Give it the little 5 stars or whatever on Spotify. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, thanks so much.